Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Have you ever wondered how a poor kid from a small village in Mexico became one of the most powerful and feared drug lords in the world? Today, we're going to talk about the rise of Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, a name you've probably heard in the news or seen in movies. But do you really know his full story? How did he go from nothing to leading the Sinaloa cartel? What smart moves did he make? And how did he escape prison not once, but twice? We'll break it all down for you, his early life, how he got into the drug business, his rise to power, and what made him different from others. So if you're ready to learn the real story in easy and simple words, you're in the right place. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more true and powerful stories like this one, Early Life in Badiraguato. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman was born in 1957 in a small village called La Tuna, deep in the mountains of Sinaloa, Mexico. Life there was not easy. The people were poor, and many families struggled to get by, including El Chapo's own family. From a young age, he knew what it meant to grow up with very little. The land around La Tuna was rough and covered with hills and forests, but it was also perfect for growing poppies and marijuana, plants used to make drugs. Because there were not many jobs or chances to earn money, many people turned to farming these plants to survive. El Chapo didn't stay in school for long. He dropped out as a child to help support his family. But he didn't want to live a poor life forever. He dreamed of becoming rich and powerful. So, instead of staying a simple farmer, he started working with local drug traffickers. This was his first step into the drug world, a world that would later make him one of the most feared and well-known drug lords in history. El Chapo may have started with nothing, but he had big dreams and the courage to chase them, getting into the drug business. As a young man, El Chapo started working for bigger drug traffickers in his area. He began with simple jobs like carrying drugs and protecting shipments, but he wasn't just doing the work. He was paying close attention. El Chapo was smart and learned fast. He watched how the business worked and saw how important it was to control the routes used to move drugs into the United States. These routes were the key to big money. In the 1970s and 1980s, the drug trade in Mexico was growing quickly. The U.S. had a huge demand for drugs like heroin, cocaine, and marijuana. Many groups were fighting each other for power and the violence was rising. But El Chapo didn't just use force. He also used his brain. He made smart choices, avoided some of the bloodshed, and slowly moved up in the world of drug trafficking. His rise had just begun. The rise of the Sinaloa cartel. By the late 1980s and early 1990s, the drug trade had become bigger and more dangerous. Small groups started joining together to create large and powerful cartels. One of the biggest was the Sinaloa cartel, and El Chapo played a big role in building it. The Sinaloa cartel was different from some others. They didn't just use violence, they used business smarts. They made strong deals with Colombian drug producers who sent cocaine to Mexico. From there, El Chapo helped move the drugs across the border into the United States, where the money was. El Chapo was very good at managing people and keeping the drug routes running smoothly. He used his knowledge to grow the cartel fast. He wasn't just a fighter, he also knew how to talk, make deals, and avoid fights when needed. This helped the cartel grow without falling apart. His ability to switch between war and peace made him even more powerful. Under his help, the Sinaloa cartel became one of the strongest and richest in the world. El Chapo was now not just a worker in the drug world, he had become one of its top bosses. El Chapo's leadership style. El Chapo was not like every other cartel leader. Yes, he was bold and wasn't afraid to take risks, but he also knew how to keep people loyal to him. He didn't work alone. He built a close group of trusted men who followed his orders and protected him. These were people who had been with him for years and proved they could be trusted. El Chapo used both fear and kindness to control his group. He gave money, safety, and respect to those who stayed loyal. but if someone betrayed him, he made sure they were punished. Still, he didn't always use violence right away. He thought before he acted and tried to solve problems smartly. To many people in his hometown, he looked like a caring family man. He helped local people, gave out money, and supported his community. This made some people admire him, even if they knew about his crimes. The rise of violence and power struggles. With great power came many enemies. In the 1990s and 2007s, El Chapo and the Sinaloa Cartel had to deal with constant threats from other powerful cartels, like the Gulf Cartel, Los Zetas, and the Tijuana Cartel. These groups fought for control of drug routes and territory, and the battles were brutal. El Chapo survived many attacks during these years. Even when he was arrested, he somehow found a way to escape. His ability to stay alive and in charge made him a legend in the world of crime. People saw him as someone who could not be caught or killed. But the violence caused by these cartel wars brought pain to many innocent people. Entire towns became unsafe. Families had to leave their homes to escape the danger. Crime and fear spread across Mexico. While El Chapo grew more powerful, the country suffered deeply from the violence that followed him. El Chapo's first capture and escape. In 1993, El Chapo was finally caught in Guatemala and sent to prison in Mexico. But his time behind bars didn't last. In 2001, he escaped from a high-security prison by hiding in a laundry cart. This escape surprised everyone and made headlines around the world. It proved that El Chapo was not just lucky, he was smart and still had strong connections. After getting out, he went back to work, rebuilding the Sinaloa cartel and making it even more powerful. His escape showed that he was still in control, and it added to his growing legend. The empire expands. In the years after his escape, El Chapo's cartel became a global empire. They smuggled tons of drugs into the United States, Europe, and even parts of Asia. El Chapo used smart and secret methods to move the drugs, like underground tunnels, hidden routes, and even small submarines. But he didn't stop with just drugs. The cartel also started doing other crimes, like hiding illegal money, money laundering, and selling weapons. El Chapo turned the Sinaloa cartel into one of the richest and most dangerous criminal groups in the world, all while staying one step ahead of the law. The rivalry with other cartels. The drug world was full of danger and fights. El Chapo had many enemies who wanted to take over his land and drug business. One of the worst rivals was a group called Los Zetas. They were known for being extremely violent and cruel. The battles between El Chapo's cartel and Los Zetas led to many deaths and made many parts of Mexico unsafe. Innocent people often got caught in the middle of these fights. Even with all these problems, El Chapo stayed strong and kept control of his power for many years. He was tough and knew how to survive. El Chapo's second capture and prison life. In 2014, Mexican police caught El Chapo again and sent him to a high-security prison. But in 2015, he shocked everyone by escaping through a tunnel more than a mile long. This escape made the government look weak and showed that El Chapo still had a strong and smart team helping him. Final capture and extradition. In 2016, after a long and intense manhunt, El Chapo was caught once more. This time, he was sent to a much stronger and more secure prison where escaping was nearly impossible. The Mexican government worked closely with the United States to make sure he would not be free again. In 2017, El Chapo was sent to the U.S. to stand trial. He faced many serious charges such as drug trafficking, murder, and money laundering. This marked a big moment in the fight against drug cartels, showing how powerful leaders like El Chapo could finally be brought to justice. Trial and life sentence. In 2019, El Chapo was found guilty in a U.S. court after a long trial. The court showed he was the leader of the Sinaloa cartel and responsible for many crimes. He was given life in prison plus 30 years. and sent to a supermax prison where he will likely stay for the rest of his life? What made El Chapo different? El Chapo's rise wasn't just about violence. He used smart plans, knowing when to act and when to stay quiet. He built a huge drug empire by controlling important routes and making strong friends. His story reminds us how dangerous the drug trade is and how it hurts many people's lives every day. And that's the story of El Chapo's rise. Even though he's now locked up, his name and his cartel still have power. The Sinaloa cartel is still running, with new people trying to take charge. His life shows us how far someone can go with power and planning, but also how much pain and damage the drug trade brings to families and countries. What do you think about El Chapo's story? Was he a smart leader or just someone shaped by a tough life? Do you think the drug war will ever end? Tell us your thoughts in the comments below. We love hearing from you. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a like, subscribe to our channel, and tap the bell so you never miss out on more real-life stories like this. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Stay safe.